I'm Taran. I'm Vice President of Product Development here at Transact, and I'm in charge of leading our software development teams. And we have resources here in the US, Chennai, India, and Limerick, Ireland. Transact's vision and mission is we're here to help schools transform the student experience. We're creating compelling technology that helps colleges fight campus operations and make life easier, more convenient for students. The product that we're working on now is a next generation product. It's pretty audacious, this project. We have what I tell people, we build enduring products. So we have a category product that's been in market for a long time, but it's just not the way people want it anymore. It's not in the cloud. It's not mobile friendly. And to take a solution that had 20 years of investment and 20 years of features and functionality and to modernize that in a short period of time and bring it to the cloud and make it modern and make it the way that our clients are asking for, we knew it was going to be a hard project. It's really about, hey, we can do hard things if we have the right people, the right resources, and the right vision. And you look at these Apollo projects, some of these accomplishments in space and sending rovers to Mars, and it's just incredible what humans can do when they're creative, resourceful, and they work together. And that was really we were drawing inspiration from some of those projects and felt like that would give the team the right motivation that, hey, we can do this, even though it's big and seems unreachable. If we just break the problem down and start working on it, we'll get there eventually. So IDX is one of the most exciting projects and strategic initiatives at Transact. It's our next generation transaction system. And these systems really power life on campus. Students are making transactions every day to get into buildings, buy food, buy books, to events on campus, stadiums. This is our next generation version. We're building this on cloud native technologies. It's going to be designed for mobile first. It's going to have APIs for our partners. It's everything that we've done in our history, but it's the next generation version of it. It's built the way it should be using modern technologies, modern practices, and it's going to be a game changer in our industry. Some people think it's a big idea. Some people think it's a wow moment. And for us, for this product, this is an idea that we had and cultivated over many years. We knew that someday mobile credentials would be in demand and that students would want to transact and do business with their watches and phones. But our vision for this really started many years before. We had to seed our market with NFC readers and devices. We started with NFC cards. At the time, Apple and Google weren't really ready for this idea. But we had this vision well before the rest of the market did. And we started investing in it. And when Apple in particular got to a spot where they were ready for this innovation, we were ready to really step up to the table and collaborate with them. And so this was something where the opportunity was a big result of our preparedness, our vision and our preparedness to be ready for that moment. Once the project got committed and was approved by both Apple and our team, it really took a life of its own. Everybody knows who Apple is and what they've accomplished. And working with Apple is very transformative. They'll either make you or break you. Not everybody can keep up with them. They work at a different pace. They have a different level of standard. And it was a real challenge for us. Do we deserve to be at the table with them? Could we operate the way that they need us to deliver the solution? We did this project in 9 months. It probably should have been a 2-year project, but we had a finite period of time to do this project, and it was sink or swim. We were solving for getting to certain milestones to be ready for Apple's Worldwide Developer Conference back in 2018. They made us very aware that if we didn't achieve certain milestones, they were perfectly happy to cancel the project and move on with other opportunities. So our team had to find a way to come together, get organized, and execute against our plan in a way that we could meet all the milestones and deliver at the right level of quality to meet our expectations, our clients, and what Apple expected in terms of quality, which is incredibly high. So this project, because it was a 9-month time frame, everything was about velocity. How are we going to go fast? How are we going to deliver high quality? And ultimately, how are we going to deliver in the time frame that we needed to? One of the challenges for us is Apple surrounded this project with their own QA and testing resources. So our lower environments needed to be as robust as production environments. We had people testing around the clock in different geographies around the globe. And so we needed to manage and operate these lower environments as if they were production. That was not something that we'd ever done before in prior projects. Sometimes you need to work smart and finding partners who are really specialized in areas and have resources that can join your team and augment the team and help you go faster. And UDX did that for us, and that was a huge part of our success with this project. So when we started this project, we knew it was going to be demanding, and we knew we couldn't do it all on our own. And so we looked for partners early on that could help us go faster. It was all about velocity. We found UDX, and UDX was a perfect fit for us because we knew that we needed to have automated CI/CD pipelines for our software. We were rapidly developing. We needed to have multiple environments, not just for our own development teams, but also for Apple's QA and testing teams. These environments were being accessed 24/7 by teams around the globe, so we had to support and operate them as if they were production-grade environment. What UDX did is they came in and they created automation. They helped us learn new tools. They educated and trained our teams on some of these new practices that were new to our teams. And we were able to go from 0 to really rapid development and deployment of our solutions. And it's just a perfect example of how you can work smart by getting partners to help you in areas where you don't have the experience or the strength. They augmented our teams and got us to be very mature and very modern with our approach very quickly. So the launch day was a pretty special memory for me. It will be a highlight of my career. It was a culmination of a lot of work from everybody in the team. And one of the things I loved about this project, it was transformative for us from a technology perspective, but even more, it transformed our people, our organization, our process, how we work together, how we collaborate. On launch day, I remember coming into this office in a room right next to where we're standing here about 2 o'clock in the morning. And we were going to launch, I think it was around 3:34, and press releases were going to go out. The team assembled. We had great espresso coffee that day, by the way. And we were saying, what's going to happen? We didn't really know. And we even had some kind of discussions about, hey, what would be a good day and how many provisioning would considered to be a successful day. And it's almost like that story you see when those press releases went out and we saw that first thing, that the first tick on the monitor go by, and then the next one, and then hundreds of them, and then thousands. And pretty early on, our wildest expectations were exceeded. And we were monitoring everything as closely as we could, and everything was working the way it was expected to. We didn't have issues. Apple said it was the most successful launch that they'd had in any partner of its kind. And it was just so fulfilling because it was so much hard work. And there was some point in the project where, as a team, we said, we are not going to fail. We all committed to it. And people were working late nights and weekends, and we did whatever it took to get to this moment. And to see the product actually succeed and to see the students and our clients actually embrace the product the way that we hoped we would was just thrilling. And for me, I looked at it, every single person in that room did something that if they had not done it, we would not have succeeded. And so it was truly a true team effort. And it was just an exciting time. And it was really just the beginning because that was just getting out there for the first time. The funny part of the story is we knew we had done something special, something that had never been done before. We were the first company in the world to issue digital keys to Apple phones and watches that could be used to unlock doors and perform access transactions on a college campus. Incredibly fulfilling to do something we knew was pioneering. The students, on the other hand, this is how they wanted it. This is what they expected. And so when this became available, they downloaded and started using it naturally. And it was a non-event for them. And they're like, hey, what took you guys so long? The point is it took a lot of human engineering from Apple, from our company, a lot of hard work from a lot of people to make that possible. But it manifests in just the most simple moment. It's just a simple transactional moment where you can wave your watch and the door unlocks. You can wave your watch and get a soda out of any machine. We did something that made those moments for these college students really powerful. And there's two things that came out of it that were exciting to me. One is the students were proud of their universities for embracing technology and bringing something modern to their campus. One student said, he quoted Arthur C. Clarke and said, any sufficient technology is like magic. And that's what we did for these students. It was like magic because it just worked. I think it was intimidating at first be dealing with Apple. Apple has obviously set the mark in terms of innovation and what you can accomplish. But what you realize pretty early is if you have smart people that are talented and you have a mission that you believe in and you let people focus on that anything's possible. And we learned pretty early on that we deserved to be there. And we had paid our dues in this market over several decades, and we had people that really understood the market. We understood our business. We understood what the needs of these campuses were, and we had the vision, and we had invested in the vision. So we felt like we belonged. And the big thing for us is when our teams were able to produce quality code and we were able to deploy our code and show that it worked and show that it worked at the level of performance that Apple expected. At that point, and this is a credit to both Apple and our team, we really became an integrated team and we were all working together to deliver this innovation to the marketplace. I think one of the reasons that we were able to do something that I felt was maybe we thought, hey, this might be impossible. Can we really do this? Can we really do this in this time frame? The human part of it was we knew it mattered. We knew it would matter. We knew it would be important. We knew we would be proud of it. And you hear entrepreneurs say all the time that some of the great entrepreneurs are a bit naive because if you knew what all the challenges were going to be, and if you knew how hard it was going to be, and if you could think about all the things that could go wrong, you wouldn't start down the path. Once you start down the path and once you're committed and once you have a team and you're committed together, it's amazing what you can accomplish. And I really do believe that the greatest transformation was not what we accomplished technically. It's what we accomplished as a team. And we realized it forced us to collaborate in new ways. We had to cross-functionally collaborate in new ways that we hadn't had to do in the last 5 or 10 years. We had to learn new technologies. We had to reach out and rely on partners that we'd never worked with before, like UDX. And so to me, the real story is how did the people get to a place where we were all committed, we all believed in each other, and we were all willing to do whatever it took to make sure we succeeded. And once there was a point in the project where you could just see we were going to make it happen. We were going to make it happen. That's really the bigger story here, I think. So when I think about my role as the head of product development, my number one job is to create a culture, a sustainable culture of high performance engineering. And the question is, how do you do that? And what is culture? To me, culture is just a collection of attitudes and behaviors, but they're derived from vision, mission, values. They're derived from tenets and principles. And what I find with smart people and with technical people is we care about, and craft is about doing things the right way and always doing them in new ways. You think about a cabinet maker making a beautiful desk or cabinet out of wood. When a cabinet's pressed up against a wall, you can't see what's on the back. It'd be real easy to put plywood back. A true craftsman, a true master of the craft would be bothered by that because even though nobody could see it, they would know it's there. And the same is true of software. There's a right way and a wrong way to build it. And it's about working together as a team, using the right technologies, using the right process, and always striving to get better. And to me, you only can have that if you have a culture where people are committed to constantly getting better. And what I found is when you get those conditions right, you're able to attract talented people. You're able to retain talented people. And the saying we have here at Transact is we want to invest in people so they can work anywhere, but we want to treat them well enough that they choose to stay. I think for development is the word soft is interesting because it's fluid and it requires creativity, it requires resourcefulness, it requires iteration. And software anymore is fast moving. You're constantly getting feedback and where you're going might change. And so teams need to be adaptable and resilient. But I think people do take pride. This is our career. We're all invested in our company, our products. And if you choose this as your profession, do you care? Do you care about your products? Do you care how they made? Do you care how long they'll endure in the marketplace? And I think people that are really talented want to work in an environment where they're surrounded by other people that kind of share that view of the craft.